What if the real key to a fulfilled life wasn't some complex formula, but was actually as simple as 3 basic commands? Well, today we're diving into the life and the incredibly simple teachings of a man who believed exactly that, Neem Karoli Baba.
This right here is the heart of it all. I mean, it's a message that's so simple, it's almost startling. And yet, its depth resonated with thousands, from tiny villages in India all the way to spiritual seekers from across the globe. And as you're about to see, its power is, well, it's truly transformative.
It's a pretty compelling question, isn't it? I mean, in our super complex world, we're always hunting for complex solutions. We build these intricate systems for self-improvement and happiness. But what if the most profound truths are actually the simplest ones? Let's really dig into that idea.
To really get the power behind this simple teaching, first, we've got to get to know the man himself. His name was Neem Karoli Baba, or as his followers lovingly called him, Maharaj-ji. And his life, well, it was shrouded in this beautiful kind of mystery.
You know, he wasn't a public figure in the way we think of one today. He didn't write any books or give these big, grand lectures. He would often just sit, wrapped in a plaid blanket. And yet, his presence alone was said to have this incredible, life-changing impact on anyone who met him.
And the stories, wow. The sheer volume of miracle stories around him is just astounding. We're talking about devotees reporting these incredible events, like him stopping a train with just his will, or knowing the deepest secrets of people he literally just met. This is the stuff of legend.
Okay, and this is where things get really interesting. Look, whether you take these miracle stories literally or you see them as powerful metaphors for his impact, they all point to something extraordinary. It all begs the question, what kind of awareness, what state of being allows a person to have such an incredible effect on the world?
So his teaching didn't just come out of nowhere. It was rooted in a very old and very beautiful tradition known as Bhakti Yoga, which is simply the path of devotion.
Bhakti is basically the yoga of the heart. You could think of it like this. You know that all-consuming energy when you fall head over heels in love? Well, instead of directing all that adoration towards just one person, you direct it towards the divine, towards all of creation. And for Maharaj-ji, this devotion was often focused on Hanuman, the Hindu deity who symbolizes selfless service.
And this is where you can see the absolute genius in its simplicity. So, love everyone. What does that actually do? It just dismantles the ego's constant need to feel special and separate. Then serve everyone. That chips away at our natural selfishness. And finally, remember God, or whatever you want to call a higher consciousness. That pulls us out of the autopilot mode of our daily worries and brings us right back into the present moment.
All right, let's jump forward in time a bit to the 1960s and 70s. You've got this huge counterculture movement happening in the West, a time of massive social and spiritual searching. And during this period, a whole wave of seekers traveled to India, looking for answers their own culture just wasn't providing. Many of them found their way to this humble man in a blanket, and their lives were never, ever the same.
And probably the most famous of these encounters was with a man named Richard Alpert. Now, this guy was no wide-eyed believer. He was a brilliant but pretty cynical Harvard psychologist. He went to India with his sharp, analytical mind, basically determined to debunk all these so-called gurus. But in the presence of Maharaj-ji, he experienced a feeling of unconditional love so profound, it didn't just challenge his scientific worldview, it completely shattered it. He became Ram Dass, and his book Be Here Now introduced these ideas to millions.
The cool thing is, you can look at his impact from a bunch of different angles, and the truth is just as powerful. From a spiritual lens, he was basically like a mirror, reflecting our own divine nature back at us. Psychologically, you could say he was the ultimate therapist, healing people with the medicine of pure, unconditional love. And philosophically, he was a living challenge to the whole idea that fulfillment comes from what you can get.
So this is all fascinating history, right? But the big question is, how can you actually bring this into your own life? Today. That's the real goal here. And the really good news is you don't need to move to an ashram in India to practice this. You can start right where you are right now.
Let's break it down into 4 really practical things. First, practice loving awareness. Next time you're talking to someone, just put your phone away and give them your full, undivided attention. That simple act is love in action. Second, serve without needing a thank you. Maybe pay for the coffee for the person behind you. Just let go of needing recognition. Third, simplify your spirituality. Don't get lost in complex techniques. Just try to be sincere. And finally, remember the sacred. Just take one moment each day to connect with something bigger than your to-do list. Look at the sky. Take a conscious breath. That's it.
And if you want to boil all of this down to just one single thing, this question is the ultimate test. At any given moment, you can just pause and ask yourself this. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It just cuts through all the noise and gets right to the heart of what matters, guiding you to make choices that really align with your deepest self.
So this really brings us full circle, and to the most important takeaway from his entire life. Remember how we started with all those incredible stories of supernatural events? Well, the real miracle, the one that's available to all of us, it was something else entirely.
Think about it. Our modern world pretty much pushes us down one path, the path of achievement. It's a relentless climb, more productive, more optimized, more stuff. It's a path of constant striving. Maharaj-ji offered a completely different way, a path of connection. And it's guided not by what you can get, but by what you can give. Your presence, your service, and your love.
And that, right there, is the ultimate truth of his teaching. The real magic isn't stopping a train or reading someone's mind. The real miracle is transforming a human heart, from being closed off and afraid to being open and compassionate. And that miracle, that one, is available to every single one of us in every single moment.
So I'll leave you with this. Just take a moment and really consider it. If every decision you made, every interaction you had, every thought that crossed your mind was filtered through just these 3 principles, what would shift for you? The invitation from Neem Karoli Baba isn't to become some perfect saint. It's just to become a little more human, a little more loving, a little more free. The only question is, will you accept the invitation?